Hi,
Side note,
everybody. Yes. Okay.
side
Go.
note, the last time that came up, I clicked leave meeting.
All right, therapist is human. Let's go. Hi everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I'm here with Daniel, and he is someone that I am just starting to get to know, but I've seen amazing work in the groups. He practices in England, but has clients and patients around the world. He has a new book out. I will link the description and your ability right there. The book's right there. If you want to learn more about RPG therapy and practicing, please, uh, as like I'm here. Please, yeah, give him a warm welcome. Would you?
Oh,
would- we're gonna we're gonna talk a little bit about the therapist or helper as human, but please share a little bit more about yourself so people get to know you.
yeah. So my name's Daniel Hand. I am, as you mentioned, the accent gives away. I'm a British counselor in private practice. I'm also an author, historian, game designer,
Mm,
fantasy cartographer, hopeless dice addict.
I love dice too. Let's go.
Um, but also a book addict, tarot card addict, and RPG addict, and etc. Um, and to my son's absolute horror, I'm also a YouTuber.
That's like the dream.
I took a picture. Over Christmas. I took a video saying, "Hi, everybody, happy Christmas." And my son said, "Dad, don't do that. You look like a YouTuber." Oh my God, you are a YouTuber. It was like, I live for causing that boy horror. It's great.
It's perfect.
But yeah, so a bit of everything, but on the internet and the international community, I'm more known as the RPG therapist.
Mm,
So that's me, myself, and I.
mm, mm, mm. And you have plenty of interviews, conversations on that subject. So we're not going to specifically talk about that. I would like to talk more today about you as a person. Um,
I'm
I
so
think,
sorry.
stop. I think that sometimes when it comes to seeking help, we get caught up in the avatar of a helper or the stereotypes of
The Avatar of the
prestige.
Help, not the Legend of Korra of the Helper.
Ooh, let's go. And it can be very, for some people, it could feel intimidating. And I think that that's a barrier to seeking support. And so I would love to learn more just about you. And I think that we may go in different directions, but I think we could start off with just something that we have already overlapped with, something similar where we have some chronic experiences where sometimes we're just tired. But
Sometimes. Try all the time.
you mean not all the time? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Do you mean there are times when you don't feel you want to curl up? Wow, what's that like?
It's been so long, I don't actually know. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel
Mm.
you.
So,
And sorry, and that's that moment there that we just had where we just fell into silence. That's what it's like because what more? I mean, between you and I, we don't need to say anything else. We live it. We don't need to explain it. We just empathize. And
Mm.
when it comes to people like yourself and myself interacting with, for example, the medical community about these chronic conditions, there is a marked lack of empathy, I find personally. But
Yeah. Um, that's really hard.
yeah,
So what is that like so now you're holding two identities, right? You're a professional, but you're also just a human trying to have conversation and get help. When you see professionals who we're still talking about this empathy component, they don't have it. What's going on? Like, what are you thinking about? What's the experience like when that happens?
well, me as the patient, the client, whatever you want to call it, it's well, it's infuriating for one. It's saddening. It's maddening. it's invalidating. Before we started recording, I mentioned how only a couple of weeks ago I went to the hospital to have a chat with a quote unquote specialist about a back problem that I've had for, I think, 16 years now.
Mm,
A very specific back problem, not something that's just kind of magically appeared. As in, there was a definite cause, there was a definite start date, and oh no, there's nothing wrong with you. There never has been anything wrong with you. You just have to do more exercise. I'm like, oh, is that when I can walk, or is that when I can't walk? Do I need to take the walking stick with me? And I don't know what it's like over in America, but you get over here, you get these sheets where you fill and ask you how to rate the amount of pain
mm,
you're in. It's like, are you on zero pain, or if you can think of the worst amount of pain possible, where are you in that scale? It's like, well, the worst kind of pain possible, not no, some today about a 7, but for me,
mm,
a 7 would be 14 or 15 for people who haven't had that pain.
oh,
And I think because you want to be authentic, you don't want to lie, because if you say that I'm a 10 all the time, then how do you explain when you do reach that pain? But
mhm.
doctors go, oh, he's only a 7, there's nothing wrong with him. And as I was saying, I could have throttled this particular individual because he was like, oh, you just need to go get some exercise. But it wasn't, oh, just try some exercise. Got to go and get some exercise. Got to be active about it. I am not right. Look. Firstly, I'm not 5, so can you save the bouncy energy for somebody who appreciates it? Secondly, I'm about to get some exercise, and it's going to involve your face.
Oh shit.
But there is just, and I get it. The British health system is markedly different to the American. I think we know that.
Mhm.
Um, Massively overworked people in the NHS. And it is very much a conveyor belt system. Get people off it as quickly as possible. But when we lose that empathy, when there isn't time or inclination to feel what your patients are feeling, it's just because I'm now okay. What the hell do I do now?
Right.
Where do I go with this? Because it's like, have you tried exercise? No, mate, I haven't. I just thought I'd spend the past 16 years just trying nothing.
You basically turn
No.
into a blob.
Yeah. A friend
Yeah.
of mine, similar issues. Somebody said, "Have you tried yoga?" And literally got into a perfect yoga pose and said, "Bleep, have I tried yoga?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that."
And I think, okay, this is actually a really good topic because I'm thinking about when they say, or when some people hear us talking about pain, instead of hearing the pain or the experience, they're thinking we're making excuses, right? So they jump to solution mode and saying,
Yes.
okay, try this, try this, try this. Like, that's not what we need. Like, it's like, you said invalidating is very invalidating. It's like
Mhm.
it's the biggest insult. Like just try this, try that. It's like so now instead of just not trying things, you're being seen as not even that intelligent too. It's like you didn't think of
Yeah,
any of this stuff.
absolutely.
Like, oh my
Yeah, it's the whole exercise. Oh wow, why didn't I think of that?
God.
Yeah, and it
Sorry, I started. I'm
uh,
crying because like when it's okay, so this is like part of your work or even a ability to just resonate with people just to be as they are. When we're talking, I believe you. I believe you that you believe me. And so it's just very liberating because like again, before off camera, we were talking about how there's that quiet understanding. That is why we need so many different types of people helping in the field because our lived experience bypasses the feeling like, do I have to explain my story from the beginning to
mhm.
have you believe that I'm struggling? That's
Yeah.
like the worst part to do this.
I mean, so this individual First time I met him. I've had this problem for 16 years. This is the first I've come across him, and he's read a piece of paper
Mm.
written by somebody he's never met. But it's likewise when you go into therapy. Oh, do I have to talk about childhood trauma again from day one? Or, if they're a young client, what's this really creepy old man going to ask me? You know, asking for help is, especially in the modern age, is terrifying because it's just assumed that you don't need help. And if
Mm.
you need help, then that's because you're weak or you're just not quite good enough, But strong people don't ask for help because they don't need help. So
Mm.
therefore, there are just so many barriers to asking because admitting that you need help is it's shameful. We are shamed you know, for being in pain, chronic fatigue. I cannot, as you say, I cannot remember the last time I wasn't utterly exhausted. People who don't experience that haven't got a clue. And so admitting that you've got an issue, you've got to go, no, please, sir, I'm telling the truth, honest.
Mhm.
And a huge thing about any client work, no matter what it is, be it medical, mental health, psychiatry, just going for a walk in the park, we need to put a lot more focus on the engagement side of things, just letting people know that it's okay to come. It's not going to be scary. You are not going to be criticized for feeling the way you feel. And we're last time I checked, we're in the 21st century. Is that still the case? I forget. Which means you would have thought by now we'd know what we were doing when it comes to dealing with people who are struggling in life. And yet we are still very much living in the late 19th, early 20th century approach to clients, as in the professional has all of the knowledge, all of the
Mm.
power. The client or patient is just there to shut up and do what they're told.
Mm.
We've moved on from that as a society, but the industry doesn't seem to. I don't know if that's been your experience, but there's not, in my opinion, my humble opinion, there hasn't been enough effort made to meet people on their own terms.
Mm.
And, that's why I wear t-shirts with cartoons on them. That's why I play games with clients that allows them to chop dragons' heads off, because it engages them. It treats them as human beings. It lets them know that I'm a human being, that they don't have to be frightened that I'm going to hold a clipboard over them all day. And as soon as you start engaging with people as a human being, that's when the healing can start. In my opinion.
I
But
mean, it's a damn good opinion. So, ah, every time I hear about the way our industry teaches us, I feel I'm just so angry every time I hear it because it's this game. It won't change for a while, but you get the paper, right? You get the degree because you need to. Then it gives you permission to do some training, get the hours. Then when you're finally done, get the licensure to a certain degree, then maybe you could do it on your own, right?
yep,
Unlearn almost everything that they taught you about the model that harms. But people are getting harmed in that way just because we have to stay in that system and we're stuck too. We're victims of the system for a long time, you know?
yeah, and that's kind of the, well, how do you change the system?
Yeah.
And that will happen organically when, as the younger generation.
Okay, Grandpa.
I I watched. As soon as I said it, I knew I was walking into something. So yeah, thanks for that. I'll go and get the flat cap and the walking stick, and I'll take my leave.
Mm.
But as people coming into the industry now, they're more savvy with what it's like to be two equal humans in a room rather than a professional and a patient. And that will inform the way the system works
Mm.
later on. But when you can see how broken the system is, and it's not that simple to fix, it
Yeah.
just but you've got to get past the managers rather than the practitioners, because they're the ones who make you fill out the forms. And if
Mm-hmm.
you haven't filled out the forms properly, you're out.
Mm-hmm.
And yay.
That's wild. I put like sparkles right here. Bing, bing, bing. Um,
It's just you want
so
to bang your head against the wall, don't you?
no, it's very frustrating. You're right. And so I don't blame any helper who's left the system to do what they can
No.
do for the freedom of practicing. And it's this inside outside group thing that continually happens, even in the spaces that I'm part of, where it's like, how dare you not pursue the licensure or do this? How dare you stay in and be a fraud in the systems? Like, so you can't win either way. It's
Mhm.
like, well, we're just trying to be as authentic and human as we can be. It's,
Yeah. I
it's
mean,
hard.
every system is open to abuse and failure. But and the answer isn't to ignore a system, is just to say that we don't need any systems.
Mm,
But nor is it to double down on the sailing system or even the failing system. Um, because the way it works over here is somewhat different to the US experience. As I understand it, the majority of practitioners, therapists, counselors, whatever, they kind of go into university, learn it, get licensure, and then just kind of do it as a career from there. Over here, oh, excuse me. Over here, therapy does tend to be kind of a second career. You've lived your life and then you want to change, and you come into it, yeah, in your mid 30s, early
mm,
40s.
yeah.
So we tend to come at it with more world weariness under our belts. Um,
Mm,
and so neither, in my opinion, again, because we've got to temper everything with that, but neither of those is better than the other. They both got their advantages. They both got, but again, they're both open to exploitation.
mhm.
Anybody over here can call themselves a therapist and practice.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's appalling. You know, if if you'll find me on the BACP's website, the British Association for Counselling and Psychotherapy, because I and my BACP colleagues are ethical enough to say, no, I want some oversight. If I do something inappropriate, unethical, I want my clients to have somewhere to go to complain about me.
Mm, mm.
It's providing peace of mind to the clients, but no, legally, no, any Joe can just say, I'm doing this. And that is not great, just between you and me.
Mm.
But at the same time, I've now been doing this for mumble years, and getting younger all the time. And
That's how it
so
works.
yeah, completely. And could I face going back to university again and doing all that all over again just to qualify for a job that I've been doing for a decade? It's the system needs to be, and likewise for yourself, is it sensible that teenagers are offering mental health support to people, twice their age when they've never got any experience of the real world?
Oh, that is interesting.
You know,
Uh, oh,
and
mm,
it's there are no perfect solutions to any of life's problems, and to pretend otherwise is, facetious at best, cynical at worst.
Mm.
But that doesn't mean we shouldn't be striving for better. And
Yeah.
I don't know if we're achieving that. Oh my God, that was morbid.
I'll put hearts on that part too.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Um, so I didn't know that teenagers were helping in
I
that.
mean, I think that was me being a bit
Oh, okay.
a bit.
Literal
I've,
here,
I've
literal.
I've I've
Okay.
told you a million times, don't exaggerate.
Um,
But
hmm.
very young. I mean, when you're 20, you've got no idea how the world works. You think you know everything. When I was 20, I was
Yeah.
having a long drawn out argument on the wall of my library, my university library's toilet. I was writing something, then this other person was writing something, then I was writing something. You don't do
I,
that later in life.
I used to think I was so profound with these very deep, deep thoughts in my 20s. Wow, a young philosopher.
I know. Oh, you poor summer child. Yeah, I'd love to be young again. No, I knew nothing as a child. No, please don't send me back there.
That's when you know you've grown, when you can feel that way looking back.
I
Um,
have my books. I don't need to be younger again. No,
yeah.
I'll write the essays now, please. Just don't make me go through puberty again.
Oh God, that was the worst. Oh, so I don't know why this made me jump to who is your ideal client?
A client who's prepared to put the work in.
What does that mean?
So again, right, it's part of what we're talking about, with the system being that historically you've got the psychoanalyst, the doctor who knows everything, is the fount of all wisdom,
Mm,
and you've got the patient who knows nothing. They just know they're not in a great place, and the one teaches the other how to be a better person. And that's still, as we say, a misconception.
mm,
I mean, it's never real, but that's how a lot of professionals still approach it. But
mm,
also because of that, it's how some clients still approach it. A lot of people do come to you thinking that you're going to fix them, and some of them do look a bit perplexed when you say, "Well, I can help you, but I can't do the work for you. I speak to you 50 minutes a week. Between you and me, that's a very small fragment of your time."
mm,
And you've got two types of clients: those who will actually take that on board and then between one session and the next ponder what you've been talking about, take on board some of the insights, the realizations, lessons, if you want to call them that, and
mhm,
actually implement them between sessions. And those are the clients who blink and they've finished their their therapy. That it's like, no, I'm fine now. Cheers.
mm, mm,
Oh, okay. But I like talking to you. No, you can't leave. No, no, just keep coming back to see me. Come on.
mm,
Um, whereas the ones who subscribe to the idea that the practitioner is the one that has the knowledge and they're the ones who are supposed to be doing the work, well, that's going to lead to either disappointment and, disillusionment, or they'll get there, but it's kind of chipping away at the statue. And so and you can tell very early on in the process how much effort they're going to put in, and that's why I start off in open, right in assessment phase. So you'll get what you put out, you'll get out what you put into this. If
mm,
really focus on what we're talking about, put it into place between sessions, you'll see exponentially fast growth as compared with if you just turn up each week and then forget about it for a week. And again, pros and cons, some people just need a place to rant. They
mhm,
don't necessarily have, I'm going to say, deep-seated issues because, just to make the sentence work, but they
mhm,
just they've got a lot of stuff going in and they just need a place to vocalize it, and that's all they need. But if you've got long-standing issues that you want to just, if not remove entirely from your life, at least refashion, repurpose, then it's going to take a bit of elbow grease. And
Mhm.
you you're going to be doing yourself a lot of help as a client if you approach your therapy with just the idea that no, you're the expert in your own life here.
Mm.
You know, I I'm the one who knows how much pain I'm in and how much exercise I've done when I go to the hospital. You're the one who knows how hard it is for you to feel good about yourself, to say, or how easy it is to call yourself names when you look in the mirror.
Mm.
And my job more than anything else is to believe you, you know.
Mm.
Hey, that was a bit more optimistic.
It is. Yeah. So I want to repeat a couple of things because when I tend to talk to professionals, it usually goes to this part of explaining the process to the client, the
Hmm.
patient. A lot of people still don't understand what does it mean? What does it look like? There's no language to fully describe the journey of healing and growing. And so when you're able to go into a practitioner's office or virtually meet them, and they tell you in the beginning, I'm not here to fix anything, you're here to put in work, that for me sets up the expectation right away on top of you already having a resonance with them and their lived experience. Like, I'm seeking to learn more about you. I'm here to believe you because why would you lie about your experiences in the first place, right? We just need someone to see us because outside, we're busy defending or reasoning with people for how we feel the way we feel. That's just like it's a bombardment. And so you're able to give that to people. That is so refreshing. So they can do the work because there's a what is it? The armor of having to defend who you are and why you got to this place. It's you took it away, you know?
Mm.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And but also the beauty of it is they don't have to do the work alone. Yet
Mhm.
they have to do the work. If they don't do the work, they're not going to see the benefits. They're not going to see the results. But coming to therapy is having somebody on your side, somebody who's going to be a cheerleader for you.
Mm.
Um, I am not going to show you what they are, but I made some pom-poms a while ago, just a rolled up paper go. Yeah, there was a client, I'll call her Kate for this one. So, go Kate, go Kate, go Kate. Um,
I can't.
she said that I looked dead behind the eyes as I was doing it. But yeah, yeah, I felt it. I felt it. Um, but you're there as a cheerleader. You're there as a commiserator because it's not always going to work. You're going to try something. You're going to stumble,
Mm.
but yeah, the one thing you're not there to do is punish or admonish.
Mm.
You're not going to, if you try something and you trip over, I'm not going to say, "Well, what were you thinking?" I'll just say,
Yeah.
"Oh God, oh Jesus, is your knee okay?"
Hmm.
I'll go and get a band-aid for you. Um, whereas in life, you're judged all the time. Everything is judgment. And from, your chronic pain, your chronic fatigue, all the way down to what you have for lunch. I went
Mm.
to the pub with my parents a little while ago and I ordered myself a beer. But they both tried it because that's what they do. They don't let and they just, oh God, how can you drink that? Oh, it tastes it's like because I like it. How about how about that for an idea?
Mm. Hmm.
You know. But the idea that there's a lot of judgment in the world isn't necessarily a new one, alas.
Hmm. But you've come to this place where you have this grace because that's part of it. Yeah, we can't escape it. The world is churning out judges all the time. Like, what are we going to do? Not live in it, you know?
Mhm.
And so you're equipping your clients with so many tools of just, well, I had compassion. I know what it feels like now because Daniel was able to offer it to me. So I one day could do that to myself too. And that's so powerful. Like that's a wonderful gift to offer people when they don't believe that they can do it to themselves yet.
I yeah, so self-disclosure time. I'm from a military family,
Hmm.
and we lived in. I was born in Germany, but we went back there a couple of times. And one of the houses we lived in, we had a balcony connected mine and my sister's bedroom. But if I contorted myself, well, I could lock the balcony door from outside through the window and then pull the window closed, so it looked as if nobody got outside. And we had this was back in the days when Sky was brand new, and you remember you needed the massive satellite dishes on the stand, and I used to go and sit behind there and just curl up. And that's a big memory for me of just when things were really hard, just
Hmm.
sitting behind that satellite dish, kind of hugging myself. And a lot of people have experiences like that where life is difficult, life throws something at you, and you've got no one to turn to. You just find somewhere to hide, and that's heartbreaking. And I do so much work with the inner child. I
Hmm.
love inner child work, and 9 times out of 10, that inner child just needs a hug.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Giving clients the power to hug themselves like that it's the loveliest experience any of us could ask for, I think.
Hmm. That was lovely. When you talk about these, mm, I guess, frameworks, do you explain them to your clients or you just do them?
Oh no, I explained. Largely because it means when I first meet them, because the first couple of conversations, yeah, they're circling you, they're trying to get an idea for who you are, whether or not you'd be a good fit for them. And
Mm.
by explaining how I work, what I do, that just gives them a bit of time to, you know, get comfortable, learn a bit about me before asking them to go into too much. I do pride myself on being very gentle with
Mm.
my clients. But yes, I'll go through, and I do the RPG therapy. That's something that not many people offer. So I talk about how that can help and how, you can pretend to be goblins fighting sorcerers, or, a science fiction warrior flying through space, and anything in between.
Mm.
Um, Classically trained, I'm person-centered and psychodynamic, but I've also done CBT, attachment theory, and the whole gamut of things. And so, whilst you explain what you do, you're also, yeah, I'm in the lucky position because I've been trained integratively. I can kind of pick and choose what will work for this individual client, and so whilst I'm going through what I offer, that's a chance for both of us to figure out, okay, would this work for you, or would
Mm.
this work better?
Mm.
And again, that's the power of meeting somebody on their terms rather than on your own.
Ooh. So this is also this kind of like partnership of I'm gonna use some of my expertise to shape it right now based on how I'm experiencing you and your story. But now there's this gap in the bridge, and now you have to make a choice. Are we going to go this way or this way? And so that's very empowering. I love that.
Yeah. And I mean the RPG, just to bring the RPG side of it in, whenever um your character comes up against an obstacle, be it a locked door, be it a dragon, be it, I don't know, you just can't find your keys in the morning, you've got to decide what to do as a result of the circumstance. And there are no wrong answers in the game, just as, I mean, I was about to say there are no wrong answers in life. No, no, there are some wrong answers. Um, but if you put some thought into how you're going to achieve them, rather than just either blindly doing what you've always done or blindly doing the opposite of what you've always done. You're
Mhm.
considering the situation and then, moving forward with your eye on the prize. And again, with somebody walking alongside you, you, yeah, you'll get further than if you just keep jumping off. If you keep jumping off the bridge and then having to climb back up, you know,
Mm.
you'd do better if you just fix the bridge and work on that rather than, well, if I jump, I it didn't work the last couple of times I jumped off, but if I jump again, maybe maybe this time.
Yeah, it could be true. I do have this one question that I have never asked with other therapists yet, but it's always been in the back of my mind. So, because I see this a lot in the groups, some therapists will comment, "Why do I have to?" Man, okay. Why do I have to think of stuff for my client to talk about in session? And I'm thinking, why aren't you looking at the treatment plan? And what's the presenting problem for your client? So if your client comes into session, they say, I don't know what to talk about, how would you respond?
Laughing a lot of the time because so often when, when clients come and say those are the biggest sessions that you get so much done in those sessions. It's just like, oh, okay. But even if they aren't those groundbreaking sessions where we've fixed the universe,
Hmm.
50 minutes will have gone by and we won't have stopped talking because, we don't, if they come in and they don't know what to talk about, that means they've had a week where the world hasn't been falling to pieces and they haven't been noting down every bad thing that's happened.
Ah,
So 9 times out of 10, that's a plus in and of itself. Um, but also, if they're in a position where they're feeling a bit better than they had been previously, now's the time to start building on the foundation rather because if you're constantly in crisis mode, fighting fires, you've only got the energy to fight the next fire.
mhm.
Whereas if you come to a session, and well, nothing much has happened this week. It's like, oh, okay, let's use that then. How, what can we, nothing much has happened this past week. What can we do now to make, because we remember the negatives. Okay, so if you haven't got anything to talk about this week, that tends to mean you can't remember the negatives from the week before. So let's assume, just for the purposes of argument, that you'll be in the same position this next coming week. There won't be any negatives. That's that that's great, but how can we add positives to it?
Mhm.
What can we do between now and next session to actually do something that you might like? I had a client a couple of hours ago. Um, we just spent a lot of time talking, oddly enough, about, well, again, because of the t-shirt, Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra, and went away going, okay, we need you to focus on this. You're in a good place. Build on that. Go and watch some Avatar. Go and read some of the books that have come out. Just we've identified things that you love doing.
Mhm.
Go out and do them, and your life will, even if you don't necessarily realize it in the moment, it it will have just a grain of sand extra niceness.
Mhm.
And eventually you'll have a beach. So,
That's a wonderful vision. I think it sometimes feels like when you're, so sounds like depression, like when your self-worth is that low, you need someone else to tell you that you're worthy of doing the things that you enjoy.
mhm,
We sometimes need that reminder, and I need that reminder. And so it's that balance, like you said, if you're not always thinking about the negative, sometimes it feels like empty and numb now. Nothing's happening. And so I love that you're rebuilding that bridge and foundation of like, okay, so there's no fires right now. Let's not always focus on the fires, because if you're always focusing on that, that's where your mind is at, right? And so you're pulling someone out there with you. helping them grow, feel powerful. And then since they're here, it's like nothing's happening. You're helping them go this way now. It's like, let's leave the fire there. You know, you don't always have to go back there because that's what we're referencing all the time if we're used to it. That's my identity. That's what I'm used to. Why would I be allowed to enjoy the beach? You know, that's so cool.
I am I play like a broken record. I have a list of phrases that I just say over and over again. One of them is give yourself permission to feel good.
Ah, that's so good. Put that on a cup and sell it on your website.
Because again, a lot of us grow up thinking that if we feel good, we're doing something wrong.
Hmm.
Anybody watching this, guys, you're not doing something wrong if you feel good.
Yeah.
And but we've all got that nagging voice in here going, no, you shouldn't be feeling happy here, feel miserable. And we listen to it. And the big part of the job is, I mean, one of the other things I say is the most important relationship any of us has is with the voice inside our head.
For real.
And, you know, if we can change that relationship, it'll change everything.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's not easy work by any
Mhm.
stretch, but it's simple work, if that makes sense. It's not we don't need a giant blackboard full of complex equations to do what we do. We just need the grind. We need to figure out where we want to go and keep working towards it. You'll trip every now and again. Don't worry, I'll help you back up.
Mhm. That's
And
such a gentle way to, I think you've earned the title of guide on the mountain. Like you are there. It's like you are an oracle. It's like and a shepherd. It's it's
am an
that gent.
INFJ. Does that count for anything?
Yeah. Okay. I'm ENFP. You're INFJ. Okay, got it. Um, we are each other's pairings for certain groups. So it you're like Jesus. The Jesus archetype. So it's this place where that gentleness is the key. Okay, some people who different personalities, they need the okay, go out there and do the thing, you know, like yeah, and dance like this while you're doing it. Like, for us gentle people who have feeling like that sensitivity to rejection, the chronic fatigue, the pain, having to defend or feeling weak. That word, I hate that word, but
Hmm.
if there's a layer of internalized feeling of weakness, people projecting that you're weak because you experienced the world in a certain way, it's unending. And you have this ability to navigate the both parts of life where, yeah, I hear you. I believe you too. I get it. I get truly how it feels to have this perception. Just try harder. You're not obviously, you can't be feeling that much pain. Impossible. It's like,
Sorry, as a side note, I once said, I called up my GP and said I was in agony. I needed to talk to a doctor. And the GP called me back, said, you sounds like you said you were in agony. You used the word agony, as if it's like, you know, as if it was a word that was made up and I was just, I'm like, do you know why I said I was in agony? Just take a hint. Maybe because I but just the scorn in the voice. And which is a shame because he's normally a really good doctor. I mean, maybe he was just on a bad day, but you know, yeah, there is just so little attempt to meet people on their own terms.
Mhm. Yeah. I don't know where we're at with time because I got caught up, but I do want to touch a little bit about your neurodivergence. Is it okay if you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I'm I've got epilepsy. That's been a lifelong thing, but oddly enough, so I was born with it, but I wasn't diagnosed with it until I was 18.
Wow.
Um, so I had a long history of having seizures in school and then being told off because I wasn't paying attention, and I had to apologize to the caretakers because I couldn't get to the toilet in time to,
Oh, goodness.
you know, and but again, because you're just making it up. We can't see epilepsy, so you just I was taken I was taken to the hospital once, unconscious, covered in my own stomach stuff. And the doctor apparently said he's a bad-tempered, naughty little boy who does it for attention. I'm like, oh, good.
Wow. The ultimate gaslighting.
I mean, military doctors, great
Yeesh.
at chopping off legs, not so great with childcare.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Um, but that and that has, I mean, really left an impact on me. I mean, I find it very difficult to learn about other people's experiences with epilepsy because it is just so close to home. It terrifies me
Yeah.
because, I grew up being punished for feeling like that, and it's just a case of I can't handle this. Keep away from me. And I think you mentioned yourself earlier about it being International Epilepsy Day a few days ago, and what I wouldn't have given for somebody just to meet me with that in mind as a child,
Yeah.
instead of, because I had behind the satellite dish. There was because I went to tons of schools, but a couple of them I had hiding places where I went after I'd had a seizure. That way nobody could find me. I mean, it's a safeguarding nightmare. How the hell the school I was allowed to do that? Because I was missing for hours on end
Wow.
sometimes. And, but again, like we were saying earlier, the young people of today are coming into the world, and hopefully the industry is going to change because of that. I'm a child of the 80s. We don't, thank Christ we don't live in the 80s anymore, is all I'm saying.
Me too. I love that we can bridge generations because I feel like sometimes there's this competition, unspoken
Okay,
where,
boomer.
right? So if you're part of one generation, suddenly you're part of a gang. Like
Yes.
we got we gotta we gotta cancel these people on our turf now. But I just, community, collective care. It's so funny that eh, that's how it should be. Like we're okay, we're turning into the aunties, uncles, and the elders now. We're
Don't
aging.
run. I'm not.
We are
I'm
we are
getting
aging.
younger.
We're aging. We can't help it. Time is coming. Time is
I was an old man whilst I was a teenager.
coming. Okay, Benjamin Button. And so I love that we can uplift the people coming into the fields, however they are helping.
Yeah.
Um, I'm here to help guide. I'm here to share stories because the older people here, I'm not super old, but like we're getting there. So
You're,
we
s-
are
you're still 18.
you at heart, I feel like it. So it's our duty and responsibility to continue to grow and build that sense of like we are the foundation now.
Yeah.
We have to do the things where I wish I could have had this help 10 years ago, just like you. But you know what? We're gifted with the opportunity to change some things now. So we can talk about this stuff in our way, where sensitivity is okay. Disclosing a tiny bit about your journey to be where you are, it helps with perspective building and to know that we are not perfect. We shouldn't be expected to be. That's just wild.
But
So,
also, very specifically for the therapeutic environment, having fun,
mm, mm,
uh, nerding out, like I say, bringing in the RPGs, talking about anime.
mm,
You
mm,
know, the amount of help Sailor Moon has given people over the
mm.
years. You know, just, again, meeting people where they are, saying, okay, tell me about your favorite movies. Oh, you like the MCU, do you? Who's your favorite? Okay, why is the Hulk your favorite? Tell me about, what is so cool about the Hulk? Get excited with them.
Hmm.
Enjoy their journey, because if you enjoy what they're passionate about, you're also being able to empathize with what they're worried about, what they're struggling with.
Right.
And
It's not just focusing on the pain, right? Hmm.
and again, meeting them as a whole person. You're more than just your symptoms.
Yes. Ah, that's another one that goes on another mug right there. Giving you all these money ideas.
Thank you. Come on, take it, take it. But also, I mean, that's why I've got my own channel, the RPG Therapist, is because more people need to be doing it.
Yeah.
More therapists need to be able to just reach to the side and grab a randomly colorful book. Beautiful. Um, because it engages people. It helps them talk about things in a non-threatening environment. We need new ways of working.
Mm, mm.
The old ways did great, but they could be improved upon.
Yes.
And as an industry, we're very, very hesitant to make changes.
Isn't that funny? We promote change, but we don't want to. What?
And then you've got people like me who rules. You have rules. Oh, my first ever job. I used to work in academic publishing. I was the most complained about member of staff in the company's 200
Wow.
results.
I love it. Fantastic.
The one that put on my tombstone, damn it.
Let me check for time. Okay, so I do have a question, one more thing, and then we can kind of like summarize, wrap up. Um, when people look for help, sometimes they're like, oh, this person's full, or the therapist I'm looking for, they don't serve my area. How do you help people in that specific scenario where they're just like, darn it, you're full, or we're not, our schedules don't meet, but I want someone exactly like you. What do you do?
Well, there are a number of ways you could approach it. There is no one therapist. There will always be somebody else. If a person is just not available for any number of reasons, there will be somebody else just as good, better. Don't stop looking just because this one person, for whatever reason, can't work with you, because that kind of thinking feeds into the hopelessness of the situation. Oh well,
Mhm.
look, I could have found somebody, but even that won't work out for me. So yeah, just keep looking. You will find somebody. Don't, just hold it. If you can hold on to anything, hold on to the idea that you will find the right person for you. Um, Also, okay, yeah, they may be full now, but this
Mm.
is a very fluid industry. You know, I am currently heaving with clients. In a couple of weeks, I'll have finished making as I'm very full. I'm very busy.
Wonderful.
Uh, in a few weeks, I mean, maybe because I can here and now I can think of a couple of clients I'm probably going to be ending with in the next week or two.
Wow.
You know, I will have room for other people to come along. It's especially when you work in private practice, when you're working for yourself, you are in one of two states. You are either too busy or you're not busy enough. And
Mhm.
you're either dying because you're just too exhausted, or you don't have enough money. There is no
I love that.
so yes. So A, keep on looking. B, call them anyway. Yes, they're busy now, but
Love that. Yes.
they will have a waiting list and it won't be that long. If you're looking for a therapist on the NHS, that can be 2 years wait. If you're calling somebody private practice, they might make you wait a month
Mm,
if
mm,
and but also the internet. I understand that YouTube won't let us mention a certain event that happened a few years ago because they think that he's spreading false information about it. But there was a worldwide pandemic that seemed, I don't know if anybody can remember it.
mm,
Before then, the concept of doing online or remote therapy was really poo-pooed. It's like, how can you work with clients when you're not in the same room as them?
mhm,
Then that happened, and we had no choice but to do it because of what was going on. Since then have not gone back to working face to face because A, I don't have to pay for a room anymore.
yeah, yeah.
B, I've actually found that there's a level of security with the internet, especially for younger clients or clients who have suffered some really big traumatic injuries.
Mm,
They don't have to be in the same room as this person asking them questions. So there's that element of security. You
mm,
know, I, there will always be a screen between you and the person asking the questions. But also it means that you can find you can find that therapist who even if you found one person who would be perfect for you, but you can't see them, well, don't worry. There's somebody else who offers online sessions, and I mean, I think I mentioned before, I've got clients in Thailand, Bangladesh, something that just would not have been possible
mm,
even a decade ago. And if you keep looking, if you just remain open to the idea that there is a person out there, don't give up.
mm, mm.
Don't give up before you've even started.
Oh, that's a big one. It's like you're so close. Just keep on
Yeah.
going. Yeah.
Reaching out to a therapist is the hardest part of the entire process. The second hardest part is having the first conversation. After that, you're on the way, you know. So again, give yourself permission to be heard. Reach out. You won't be turned away. And if you are, that means they're bad at their job.
Yeah. Just stick your tongue out at them. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
about you. It
No,
really
absolutely.
is. Yeah, it's always about like the therapist as professional. Like, do they have the space? Can they refer respectfully? All those things. Um,
One thing that I just can't get my head around is it's a thing where some therapists just don't respond. And
oof.
I mean that's bad customer service if nothing else.
Yeah, for real. Mm-hmm.
How are you going to get clients if that's how you treat prospective clients?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But hey, what do I know? I'm the most complained about member of staff in 200 years.
I love it. Oh, Daniel, thank you so much for being with me. Chatting with you has been so affirming, validating, very refreshing and joyful.
Yeah.
And you've
Oh,
offered so many warm things I think would encourage some people who are not sure, but maybe suddenly feel a little bit more hopeful that therapy can be very healing.
yeah, and hold on to that hope. Grab it, pull it in, take it with you wherever you go. Because that's what we all need. As soon as we run out of hope, that's when the despair sets in. And just if you get even a glimmer of hope, it's yours. Take it. Don't let anybody else have it.
Like it's yours
No,
forever.
give it to me. No.
Hmm. Where can people find you?
You can find me at monomythcounselling.co.uk.
Oh no,
Counseling spelled with yeah, oh,
that's
yeah.
good.
Well, I mean, because that's where I first came into
Dude.
contact because you did the hero's
Okay.
journey.
I know. I was gonna, dude. If I knew, I was gonna geek out with you about the mono. Never mind. Forget it. We didn't
Uh,
even talk about the mono. Just hearing that, I just okay, happy. Okay. Sorry,
We can
say
we can do this again. Don't worry.
okay.
Yeah, so Monomyth Counselling with two L's because I'm British,
Hmm.
.co.uk. I'm also on YouTube, the RPG Therapist, where I've got videos on how to choose an RPG, how to review RPGs, how to create stories. I'm currently doing a not live, but an actual playthrough of the Avatar Legends RPG,
Oh,
with a
okay.
bunch of other therapists. So we geek out like nobody's business, but then talk about the therapeutic benefits of it.
Love it.
So yeah, please do come over and subscribe to that. Yeah, those are the two main things, but I'm often speaking to people like yourself, and I'm doing trainings. I'm always on a panel called Continual, talking about things from Indiana Jones to how to write cozy romance. Because as I say, I'm an author.
Cozy romance. That's so cute. Sorry.
I've been around the block. I am my party trick is doesn't matter what we're talking about. I can say, "Oh, I did that at uni."
You're a hobby floozy.
Not just a hobby for you.
All right, everybody. So now you know a little bit more about this wonderful counselor,
Oh,
monomyth.
also, role-playing games and psychotherapy, a practitioner's guide available at Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and wherever you get your reading material. I die a little inside every time I do that. So
You're
please
so good at it.
get a copy, buy it out so I don't have to keep doing it.
Oh, okay.
Please.
So, side note, I'm trying to gather all these people's books with autographs. So I want to send you money. Can you send me an autograph book?
Yeah, by all means.
Okay,
Yeah.
sweet. Yeah.
Or I can say, or I can post you a sticker with the autograph.
No, it's not the same thing. No, no. Well, we'll figure it out. So again, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
I think the community is going to learn so much more about having compassion for the process and feel a little bit more hopeful of like there is a therapist out there for them too.
There really is. There
Yeah.
really, really is.
All right. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Thanks, Bernie. Bye bye.